Welcome to your week 4 update for English 101. The biggest reminder I have for you is that your peer review feedback is due tonight at midnight. So the peer review days are pretty much, hopefully, the only deadline that you're going to have midweek. But we need to have it on Wednesday because your revised draft is due on Sunday. So get in there, give feedback. People are looking for it. What I've seen so far has been really good. So keep doing what you're doing. If you haven't loaded your draft yet, you still can, and hopefully someone will give you some feedback. You'll lose points for not having loaded your draft, but you'll still, you'll get to be part of the process, which usually is really helpful for people. So good luck with that. I have a couple reminders for completing your revised draft for Sunday. So here's your checklist. It needs to be 3 full pages. So not 2.5, not 2 3/4. It needs to be to the bottom of the 3rd page or onto the beginning of the 4th page. And that's because in this class, I'm assigning only the minimum amount that you need to have a complete portfolio in case we look at your portfolio at the end of the semester. So 3 full pages, and it also needs to be in, a Microsoft product or RTF. It can't be a PDF because I'll be leaving you comments in the body of your paper, and I can't do that with a PDF. It needs to be double spaced, 12-point font. It can be Times New Roman, or the new MLA standard is you can also use Arial, which is easier for people who have dyslexia to read typically. 1-inch margins, indent the beginnings of each paragraph. The details on MLA formatting can be found in last week's folder and this week's folder. There's more information, I believe. So give that a go. Don't worry too much about the formatting. It's not a deal breaker unless your formatting causes your paper to be short of the 3 full pages. So keep that in mind. For the content, which is the more important aspect to be considering right now, you want to keep in mind that your thesis and each topic sentence should relate to the essay assignment. For Essay 1, you will identify and explain what aspects of your past experience have had the greatest impact on your voice. Each body paragraph needs to focus on explaining how a distinct aspect of your past experience has impacted your voice, and that should be identifiable in your topic sentence, that first sentence of each body paragraph. It can be really tempting in narrative to, give the setting like, I lived in Weezer until I was 7, which is, what we do when we're telling stories. You tell me where we are. But for an academic paper, your topic sentence needs to say something like, my voice became forceful from growing up the youngest child in a large family in Weezer, right? So that would have both the aspect of my voice and the past experience that impacted it. Remember that 50% of your score for this revised draft comes from the strength of your paragraphs, and you can check out the rubric by opening the assignment or checking out the weekly folder. Make your appointment for tutor feedback. Hopefully there are still spots. You can get 10 points for meeting with Tatiana, our embedded tutor, to discuss your essay. To sign up for a spot on Friday, go to the Online Writing Center scheduling page, and this information is in each weekly folder in the link as well. So I will be putting submission directions for how to get those 10 points in next week's folder after you've submitted the paper. I've been having a couple questions about the conclusion, and at first I thought, I was thinking about telling people you don't really have to worry about the conclusion, but because it's not a big part of your grade, it's something that we'll kind of ease into. But I figured I might as well give some advice, right? So since it's a question that's coming up, you want to offer advice to your future self or your audience. So this is a very standard strategy, right? In this case, it would be advice about how you might change how you use your voice in the future, for instance. This is also often done with framing, which is where you refer back to your attention getter in the introduction. Like maybe in your introductory paragraph, you have something about, how you were bullied and it made you have a tiny little voice. And then in your conclusion, you would frame by talking about how since since you were bullied and had this weak voice, now you use it to stand up to other people who bully, right? That would be a framing. It's like you put a frame around the picture and remind your reader about what you talked about in your introduction. Another typical strategy for conclusion is explaining what you've learned from this assignment. Like, we love this one, right? We want you to actually learn something from the assignment, either about yourself or about the world. So that's always a great place to go. You can also give a policy recommendation. This is usually used for more formal papers, like our next essay, essay 2, where you'd be supporting a particular public policy or even a law. You can also propose further research. And this is usually used in a research paper, like where you talk about what's the next topic that you would want to explore now that you've covered, like, let's say you were looking at a study of watersheds in the Treasure Valley, and then you could say that now that you know about the watersheds, your next research topic would be something about water rights. Like that might be a cool next step off. Again, that's not something that would necessarily work very well for this paper, but maybe you'd want to come up with some research topic about voice. So those are things that typically and traditionally show up in a conclusion. What you want to avoid in your conclusion is what is often taught to beginning writers, and that's that you should restate your thesis and your main points. So I see people spend a lot of time coming up with new words to say the same main points that they've just given me in the paper. But, in English 101, we're starting to move into the more sophisticated writing, and you can assume that your reader has been paying attention, right? So instead of, summarizing everything that you've already said, try one of the strategies on the previous slide. Most of all, I just want to say good luck. I love what I'm seeing so far in the drafts that are published in Discussion Board. Check them out. There's some great ideas out there. And keep in mind that you are welcome to revise papers for this class. So, don't get too hung up on this needing to be perfect and letting that, that perfectionism shut you down or causing you to turn your paper in late. It's better to have a complete good try turned in on time so that you can get your feedback on time and keep moving forward in the class. So give it your best shot. I know my new motto is writing takes courage. It's an act of bravery. So I know that. And I'm on your side. Give it your best shot. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with. If you have any questions, come by office hours, either mine or Tatiana's, or email me. I'm happy to answer your questions. All right. So good luck. And I look forward to seeing your revised drafts on Sunday.